Next, we are going to see the short circuit and open circuit time constant of a circuit. The circuit is containing both the coupling capacitor as well as the load capacitor. Okay, it is different from the last circuit what we have derived. So it is a combination of the series capacitance as well as the parallel capacitance, CS as well as CP. Okay, now we are going to combine the effect of the series capacitance and the load capacitance or parallel capacitance. Okay, so here the CS capacitor is the coupling capacitor and the CP capacitor is a load capacitance, and which is in parallel with the RP resistance with respect to the ground. And at this node A, we are going to apply the KCL in order to get the transfer function of this circuit. We are assuming it is a part of our amplifier circuit, so that we can able to get the transfer function of this one, so that we can apply that transfer function in our complex analysis. So this circuit can able to give you the frequency response because it contains the coupling capacitor CS as well as the load capacitance CP. Therefore, due to the coupling capacitor CS, the gain is getting decreased in the low frequencies, and due to the load capacitance CP, the gain is getting decreased in the high frequency ranges. Okay, therefore the total frequency response curve can be given from the single circuit, which is this CS and CP combination circuit. Now we are going to apply the KCL at this node A. Therefore the voltage at this node is V0. Therefore V0 minus Vi divided by, this is the series combination of Rs and the CS capacitor, which is Rs plus 1 by SCS, plus the current flowing in Rp resistor is V0 divided by Rp, and the current flowing in the Cp capacitor is V0 divided by 1 by SCP, the reactance of the Cp capacitor, which is equal to 0. Now we are going to take the LCM for Rs plus 1 by SCS, okay, which is SCS and which is getting multiplied with the Rs. Therefore 1 plus SCS Rs divided by SCS, we will get that SCS will go to the numerator and multiply the V0 minus Vi, and here we have R0 divided by Rp plus V0 into 1 by SCP, which will go to the numerator, which will becomes V0 into SCP, which is equal to 0. Now we are going to separate the V0 terms and Vi terms so as to get the transfer function of the circuit. Okay, so if you rearrange the equation, V0 into SCS by 1 plus SCS Rs plus 1 by Rp plus S into Cp after taking the V0 as a common, and if you take the Vi term to the right hand side, which will becomes Vi into SCS by 1 plus SCS Rs. Now I am going to get the V0 divided by Vi by taking Vi to the left hand side and this multiplying term to the right hand side. Therefore V0 divided by Vi, which is equal to here SCS divided by 1 plus S into CS Rs, which is already in the right hand side, and this entire term will divide this right hand side term. Okay, so which is equal to SCS divided by 1 plus SCS Rs plus 1 by Rp plus 1 by SCP. Okay, that is one. So here what I am going to do is, again we are going to take the LCM for this one. Okay, for this part we are going to take the LCM. The LCM is 1 plus S into CS Rs into Rp, and the numerator will becomes 1 plus S CS Rs plus 1 plus S CS Rs into Rp into SCP plus CS into Rp, because so here if you see SCS is the term already we have, okay, it should get multiplied with the Rp, so which was given here, and here 1 by Rp, so this one need to get multiplied with 1 plus SCS Rs, which was given here, and here this S into Cp has to multiplied with the LCM 1 plus SCS Rs into Rp. Now we can cancel this 1 plus SCS Rs and this 1 plus SCS Rs, and also this Rp will go to the numerator section. Therefore the above equation will becomes V0 divided by Vi is equal to SCS RP divided by, and also I am going to take SCS is common from the denominator terms. Okay, therefore the above term can be given as 1 by SCS plus RS plus 1 plus SCS RS into RP into CP divided by CS plus RP. Now we can cancel this SCS in the denominator and SCS in the numerator. Therefore, the above equation is RP by this term. Okay, RP by RS plus RP. So I am just rearranging the terms. RS plus RP one side plus 1 by SCS. Just I am multiplying with RP plus SCS RP RS into CP divided by CS, like that. Now we can take RS plus RP as a common in the denominator. Therefore, the above equation can be written as RP by RS plus RP into 1 by 1 plus, here this one is becomes 1, and here 1 by SCS. 1 by SCS will get multiplied with RS plus RP, and this term, okay, RP will get divided by RS plus RP, and the multiplication factor CP divided by CS, and this term S into CS RP RS will get divided by RP RS RP divided by RS plus RP into SCP. Okay, here we know that the SCS into RS plus RP, which is nothing but the series circuit time constant, so which can be written as S into tau S, and here this is a parallel combination. RP RS divided by RS plus RP is a parallel combination of RP and RS. Okay, so S into RS parallel RP into CP can be treated as the tau P, the time constant of the parallel circuit, therefore which is nothing but S into tau P. Then the above equation can be written as V naught of S divided by Vi of S, which is the transfer function, which is equal to RP by RS plus RP into 1 by 1 plus RP by RS plus RP into CP divided by CS plus 1 by S into tau S plus S into tau P. Okay, that is the exact transfer function of this series parallel circuit. Okay, so where the tau S and the tau P are the same time constant what we have already derived. The tau S is nothing but RS plus RP into CS, and the tau P is equal to the parallel combination of RP and RS into CP. Okay, these are all the equation for the series and parallel circuit time constants. Now we are going to get the bandwidth of this circuit. Okay, so CS affects the low frequency response and CP affects the high frequency response. Okay, so due to the coupling capacitor CS, the gain is getting decreased in the low frequency range, and due to the CP capacitor at the output side, the gain is decreasing at the high frequencies. At low frequencies, we can treat the load capacitor CP as an open circuit. At low frequencies, we can treat the CP as an open circuit. Okay, therefore the CP value is negligible here. Therefore, we have only this circuit which is containing RS, CS and RP, and the V0 is a voltage across RP only. At that time, this circuit is looking like series coupling capacitor circuit. Therefore, we can use the same transfer function as we have already derived. To find the equivalent resistance seen by the capacitor, set all the independent sources to the 0. So, in order to get the resistance of this circuit, okay, seen by the capacitor, we have to set all the independent sources to the 0. Therefore, VA is equal to 0. We can say the effective resistance seen by the CS is in series combination of RS and RP resistance. Okay, when we see from the CS side, these RS and RP are in the series combination after short circuiting the VI. Therefore, the time constant associated with the CS can be given as the tau S is equal to RS plus RP into CS. That is the value of the time constant of the circuit, which will decide the low frequency gain of our amplifier circuit. Okay, since the CP was made as open circuit here, this is called as open circuit time constant. Okay, that tau s is called as open circuit time constant. Now we are going to get the short circuit time constant of the circuit at the high frequencies. We can treat the coupling capacitor CS as a short circuit. There is no effect of the coupling capacitor. Okay, therefore the CS was treated as a short circuit here. Only we have CP in the circuit, which is a parallel circuit what we have seen earlier. The effective resistance by the CP is in a parallel combination of RS and RP. After short circuiting the CS and the voltage source Vi, we can say that this RS and RP are in the parallel combination because they are starting from the same end and ending at the same node. Okay, therefore RS and RP are in the parallel combination. Therefore, the time constant of this circuit can be given as the tau p, which is equal to RS parallel RP into CP. Okay, so as we have short circuited the CS, this is called as the short circuit time constant. Okay, so that's all about the short circuit time constant and the open circuit time constant, which is our topic. Now we are going to get the bandwidth of the circuit. Okay, let us see the Bode plot of the voltage transfer function and magnitude. So here on the x-axis we have taken the frequency, on the y-axis we have taken the transfer function or gain of our amplifier circuit, and the maximum gain which was given as the T maximum, which is in decibels. Okay, the lower corner frequency or the 3 dB frequency, which is at the lower end of the frequency scale, is a function of open circuit time constant and is given as FL is equal to 1 by 2 pi tau s, where the tau s is equal to Rs plus Rp into Cs. Okay, therefore at lower frequencies this minus 3 dB. Okay, so from the maximum we are going to draw one line at minus 3 dB, which is a T maximum minus 3. Okay, so from where our minus 3 dB curve crossing this frequency response curve, that frequencies can be referred as FL and FH. Therefore, the frequency at a lower side, which can be treated as a lower cutoff frequency, that is 1 by 2 pi into tau s, and the upper corner frequency are a 3 dB frequency, which is at a higher end of the frequency scale. This one, which is the higher end of the frequency scale, and which is a function of the short circuit time constant, and which is given as Fh is equal to 1 by 2 pi tau p, where the tau p is equal to Rs parallel Rp into Cp, which we have already derived. Therefore, the amplifier gain is a constant over the wide range, which is called as the medium frequency. So here if you observe, this amplifier gain is constant over this medium frequency range. Okay, in this medium frequency range, the all capacitor effect like these coupling capacitor effects and the loading capacitor effects both are negligible. Okay, so at high end the frequency spectrum, the gain drops as a result of the load capacitance. At the lower end of the frequency spectrum, the gain decreases because of the coupling capacitor and bypass capacitor and do not act as a perfect short circuit for the low frequencies. Therefore, in the medium range, or which is also called the bandwidth of our amplifier, which is defined by the corner frequencies FL and FH. Okay, therefore the bandwidth, which is a function of frequency, therefore FBW is equal to FH minus FL. The difference between this higher cutoff frequency to the lower cutoff frequency, which is called as bandwidth of our amplifier circuit. Okay, so that is given as FBW is equal to FH minus FL, but the value of FL is a low value, therefore the bandwidth is approximately equal to the FH value. Okay, if FL is not negligible value, then we can treat the bandwidth is equal to FH minus FL. If FL is a negligible value, we can take the bandwidth is equal to the FH only, which is the higher cutoff frequency. This is about the short circuit and open circuit time constant topic. Now we are going to see one problem regarding the same. The problem is Determine the corner frequencies and bandwidth of a passive circuit which are containing the two capacitances. Okay, here the CS is a one capacitance and CP is another capacitance. Consider the circuit shown in the figure with the parameters. RS was given as 1 kilo ohm and RP was given as a 10 kilo ohms, and CS was given as 1 microfarad and CP was given as 3 picofarads. Okay, these are all the values what they have given. Now we need to get the bandwidth of the circuit. Okay, in order to get the bandwidth, we need to get FL and FH values, and these FL and FH are the functions of the tau s and tau p. Okay, so first we have to calculate the tau s and tau p so that we can calculate the FL and FH values. The open circuit time constant tau s is equal to Rs plus Rp into Cs. That's the formula. Therefore, we are substituting Rs is equal to 1 kilo ohm and Rp is equal to 10 kilo ohms into the Cs value given as 1 microfarad, which is equal to 1.1 into 10 power minus 2 seconds. That is the open circuit time constant, and the short circuit time constant can be given as tau p is equal to Rs parallel Rp into Cp, which is equal to 1 kilo ohm in parallel with the 10 kilo ohms into Cp, which is the 3 picofarads. Therefore 3 into 10 power minus 3, that will gives you the 2.73 into 10 power minus 9 seconds, which is the 2.73 nanoseconds. The corner frequencies are then FL is equal to 1 by 2 pi into tau s, which is a lower cutoff frequency or lower corner frequency, that is equal to 1 by 2 pi is 1.1 into 10 power minus 2 is substituting here, that will become 14.5 hertz. That is the lower cutoff frequency or lower corner frequency of the frequency response curve. Now we are going to get the higher corner frequency fh, which is equal to 1 by 2 pi tau p, 1 by 2 pi into tau p. After substituting the value of the tau p, we can get it as 58.3 megahertz. That is a higher corner frequency. Therefore, the bandwidth FBW is the difference of the higher cutoff frequency to the lower cutoff frequency, that is equal to 58.3 megahertz minus 14.5 hertz, which is approximately equal to 58.3 megahertz, because the FL value is a very negligible value. Okay, so we can neglect the FL value. Therefore, the bandwidth will be equal to FH only. Therefore, the maximum magnitude of the voltage transfer function can be given as, which is nothing but the value of k, that can be given as Rp by Rs plus Rp. Here Rp is 10 kilo ohms, Rs is 1 kilo ohm. After substituting these values, we can get it as 0.99, which is equal to minus 0.828 decibels. Therefore, the frequency response of the given circuit can be drawn like the maximum gain is minus 0.28 decibels. Therefore, the curve is entirely in the negative portion of the graph. Okay, below the 0 we have the graph, and FL was taken here, which is the 14.5 hertz, and FH was taken here, which is a 58.3 megahertz. Okay, so this is how we have to draw the graph. On the x-axis we have taken the frequency, on the y-axis we have taken the decibels, okay, as well as the numerical values. Okay, these are all the numerical values and these are all the decibels graph. Okay, this is how we have to do the problems on the frequency response. Okay, in the next class we are going to see about the time response of the circuit.